Warning. This video contains spoilers. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I'm not gonna try to spoil them much, alright? But I'm gonna have to talk about the things that I need to talk about. So first off, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, right? It's disappointing, which is sad because I wanted to love it. I really wanted to love the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but I just can't. I have to be honest with myself. I cannot love that movie, which is so sad, right? Because we waited so long. I waited for 7 years now. 7 years. That was when I first found out about Five Nights at Freddy's. I watched so many animations. The entire fandom is beautiful. All of Markiplier's videos I've watched like at least 2 times, every single one of them. And then the movie comes out and it's just so disappointing, which is sad. Like, first off, everybody knows, like, in the trailers, they changed some things, right? It is not the Five Nights at Freddy's universe that we know. We saw, like, everybody saw that in the trailers. Freddy had, like, you know, gloves on instead, and the entire location looks completely different from the games. Which I understand, right? The location is made for a game, not for a movie, right? But it's so stupid to have fans love this franchise for like 7 years and then bring out a movie, but it doesn't, like, it's not our Five Nights at Freddy's. It's another different, it's a completely different universe. It's just a generic, not even scary horror movie plastered with the Five Nights at Freddy's theme. Like, you have these animatronics that we've had over the years, so they have like personalities, right? But in the movie they're just murder bots. They're just, oh no, we have to run from them because they're going to murder us. Which is, they have literally just been reduced to murder thingies. And in the movie, obviously, everybody knows, you know, it's the dead children, and they talk about that in the movie. But they talk about it for like 5 minutes and not more. It's like, you know, yeah, they're, you know, dead children in the animatronics. Oh, okay, so they're going to kill us. Like, what's... We're not going to talk about the bite of 87. We're not going to show what actually happened when children, like, got taken away and then murdered. And how, like, you know, the entire history of Five Nights at Freddy's, how they became that way. They just, yeah, that's dead children. Oh, okay. Like, what? That is such an insult to the entire Five Nights at Freddy's, like, story. On top of that, it's not even a good horror movie. Like, all the deaths that happen, they happen, like, almost off-screen. You don't see any, like, much blood or something, or you don't see, you know, somebody get completely devoured. It's not scary. I mean, I know it's, like, age 16, which I don't understand, mate. Just made it for, like, 19, right? That way you can show as much blood, put even more blood, you know, make it really gruesome, make it real horror, but they didn't. For some reason, it's not scary. The animatronics are not scary. Not at all. And then William Afton, like, comes out in the end, right? And, like, then the last 5 minutes. In the last 5 minutes. And he's also not scary. Like, we already know that it's this guy sitting at this table, right? You know what we're talking about. Who William Afton was, it was so obvious. But he's not menacing at all. And the animatronics in the beginning, they're like, you know, they kill this big guy. You know, they eat them. Like, one bite, the people have no chance. But then in the end, they just become useless. Like, in the end fight, obviously there will be an end fight. They can't just, you know, William Afton kills everyone and then, you know how the end of, you know, the first Five Nights at Freddy's with the spring lock, and then, you know, he turns into Springtrap. Yeah, but the animatronics just get useless towards the end. They turn from this giant threat that you have to avoid at all costs into just, you know, puppets that you can push over easily. You're gonna understand more of this if you watch the movie. Please go watch the movie. And it's so sad because it does such an injustice to Five Nights at Freddy's. Like I said, the animatronics, they have so many, like, just watch fan animations. You watch a fan animation, you see they have personalities. They have, like, actual goals, like actual emotions, you know. Like, a fan animation is so much more interesting than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which is so sad, you know? And it makes me think, right? Scott Cawthon, we all thought, okay, yeah, he's the creator. Why? Why did we just let him do that? He doesn't know how to make a movie, and it shows. He makes games with, like, you know, a bit of story, which 99% of that is off-screen, and gets, like, you know, MatPat is there for that, you know, MatPat figures out what the story is. But then we have this movie, and I really feel like if some other studio took up Five Nights at Freddy's and then made an actual horror movie, even if they just, like, put one guy in charge who, like, just watched a quick video about Five Nights at Freddy's and, you know, what the entire lore is, I feel even then they would have done a better job, because he changed so many things about the thing. It's not a Five Nights at Freddy's anymore. Why would you do that? We've watched this for like 6-7 years. We've looked Five Nights at Freddy's, and then you bring out the movie, and it's not Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not the location. It's not the animatronics. You're not gonna talk about all the story and everything that happened. You're gonna focus on the stupid guy called the Mike. Like, it really feels like it's a movie about the guy called Mike, and like the entire job as a security guard and the entire animatronic bit, and at the end Springtrap, it's just like background characters, you know? He is the main character, and the animatronics, they're just the bad guys. And I mean, kinda that makes sense, right? In the game, you're the main character, you're also playing as Mike. But the main characters are the animatronics at heart. But they don't talk about it. They don't talk about the animatronics, what like actually happened to them. That, you know, they are also struggling. That they are also, you know, kind of dead children stuck in animatronics. It just got played off as like an excuse to why they want to kill you instead of like an actual story. Never talked about the bite of 87. Nobody even cares about Five Nights at Freddy's or Freddy Fazbear's in that universe. It's just, oh yeah, it's this, you know, they're these animatronics. Yeah, kids used to like them. They don't show what it used to be back then, that so many people loved it, that so many people went there. What actually happened, what turned this from a pizzeria that everybody loved, Chuck E. Cheese style, into, you know, this restaurant that is abandoned. They don't talk about the missing children's incident and what actually happened. They don't talk about the bite of 87, if it even happened in that universe. It just does an injustice to all of Five Nights at Freddy, which is so sad to see Scott do that. First off, why would you make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie and then base basically nothing off the game? Then on top of that, why do you focus on the stupid guy called Mike, which doesn't even have a personality, right? You watch Five Nights at Freddy's, like, videos, animations. The security guard has basically no, like, personality. It's like 99% personality of the animatronics. And maybe, you know, there's like Markiplier playing it, and that is the personality that the security guard has. But given the security guard like an entire backstory, and then focusing on it like it like anybody cares about this stupid guy who has his own struggles. Like, sure, give him a slight backstory, okay? He needs money, he has to go here, and, you know, give him a reason to go into this pizzeria, and then focus on the actual characters, which are the animatronics. Like, if you made a video game back then, and it was more focused on the life of this security guard than the actual animatronics, Scott would be still sitting in the basement of his mom. He would be working at McDonald's right now. But no, the animatronics are what made Five Nights at Freddy's. But no, they're just background characters. They're just the shock value, you know, the big bad. And not even that, like, towards the end they get absolutely useless. They just get turned into like puppets. In the beginning they like eat this big guy. Okay, oh my god, they're so strong, they're tall, I understand it. They're like, what? Like 7 feet at least. 600 pounds. They are ginormous. But towards the end, you can just like push them over and nothing happens. They're just completely useless. And it's so sad to see these characters that we loved get botched like that. And on top of it, purple guy, William Afton, is not even purple? Which, I know that sounds stupid, right? I know that really sounds stupid, but still, also William Afton, like, what? He was not scary at all. He was not, like, threatening at all. On top of that, the spring lock scene, I have seen YouTube animations who have done a more bloodier, more morbid, more interesting, more spectacular spring lock scene than the movie has, which is saying a lot. In general, if you watch Five Nights at Freddy's animations and like own movies people have made over the years of like The Bite of 87 or like William Afton killing the 5 children, it is so much better than the movie, which is ridiculous. I really do feel like if some random studio just watched a couple of Five Nights at Freddy's animations and then decided to make a movie about it, that movie would have been better than what we're getting today. Which is sad. I love Five Nights at Freddy's, and I really wish I could love this movie, but I just can't. It is... my heart is broken. It's really just... it hurts. But I really hope that they still make enough money to make a part 2. Simply because, well, first off, I want to see the movie variations of, like, you know, toy animatronics or whatever they decide to do after that. There's so much more story there, and I hope that enough people slander this movie, that enough people, like, get mad about this, so that when Scott decides to make another movie, or whoever decides to make another movie, they actually, like, listen to the people. Focus on the animatronics, don't care about this stupid security guy, alright? Like, the movie was literally, like, 60 minutes, not even 60 minutes, like 30 minutes of the movie was spent inside the actual pizzeria. 15% was the actual animatronics doing stuff and moving around. And the last 5 minutes they were like, you know, the end scene where Springtrap comes out, you know, William Afton, and he's now going to kill all of us. Yeah, it really was it really was not what I wished it would be. It really was not the Five Nights at Freddy's that we deserved. It really is not the Five Nights at Freddy's that we loved. Still go watch the movie. I really hope that a second movie saves it. Who knows, maybe he expands on the lore and it turns out to be actually pretty strong. Maybe he goes back to the roots and actually, you know, does an adaptation of the actual game. Instead of just, you know, making a horror movie that just looks like Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, thank you all for watching, thank you all for listening to me ramble about this movie. Tell me in the comments what you think about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and bye.